kids are not in danger with me, and I'm not a crackhead mom. I don't do drugs. I'm the only thing that is putting them in danger.
We're set today for a 14-day review hearing after the court issued ex parte temporary orders. Mr. Thompson, what do you have to report since the issuance of the ex parte order?
Your Honor, I have not received, may it please court, I have not received any confirmation that Ms. Nordstedt has established any type of suitable housing, Your Honor, nor have I received any information that there's health insurance coverage for the 6-year-old. The 15-year-old boy, Your Honor, is on state insurance because he's special needs, he's deaf, has cerebral palsy. He's in the special education program at Douglas, Your Honor. He has limited cognitive ability. He has a disorder which names escapes me now, where he has trouble swallowing, Your Honor. So he's a special needs child. He has separate insurance. We're concerned that the 6-year-old does not have insurance because, as I understand, Ms. Nordstedt lost her job as a Douglas city clerk. And according to Ms. Nordstedt, there are 2 different investigations by the Butler County Sheriff relating to her former employment there. I don't know if she has COBRA or if the child is uninsured. If the child is uninsured, we request that Mr. Nordstedt be allowed to immediately obtain insurance for her through his employment. He works for the Douglas School District, Your Honor, over at the high school. And it's my understanding, his understanding, that he could put her on the policy based on these circumstances. So we request the status quo be maintained, Your Honor, with the ex parte order.
Okay, Ms. Nordstedt, I'll allow you to address your current situation at this time.
I did not lose my job. I quit the job due to toxic situations. There is not coverage on Bristol right now, but I am working on getting state insurance due to my circumstances. And I have no problem doing that. I will have an update by the end of the week if necessary. And I mean, the 2 charges, they're pending. So, and they're pending. So it was due to the fact that I was in a toxic work environment. And since then there have been some changes. I requested an update from the detective. So I have not heard back from him yet.
Okay, what about the housing situation?
I do not. I'm currently staying with a friend. Finding a house in Douglas is pretty rare. I did request a couple different things and I was denied those. So under that situation, I'm still looking. But I am staying with a friend and it is a stable housing.
So what exactly are you proposing, Mr. Thompson?
Your Honor, we're proposing that the ex parte order remain in place until Ms. Nordstedt files a motion or something to get indicating that she has suitable housing with information, so Mr. Nordstedt could make sure that housing is suitable, and then have the court make a determination from there. We did file a motion this morning, Your Honor, for a change in parenting time on a more permanent basis based upon these factors as well as other factors, Your Honor.
All right. What type of parenting time is Ms. Nordstedt being allowed under the current order?
Your Honor, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Mr. Nordstedt has offered opportunities for her to see both children. She has chosen to see the 6-year-old at daycare. Mr. Nordstedt had offered for after school time at a public place since we don't know her living situation. Ms. Nordstedt has declined to take him up on that offer. She has seen the 15-year-old boy at I think it was a music festival?
The art show.
An art show. Mr. Nordstedt invited Ms. Nordstedt to go to an art show that one of the children was engaged in, and that was when she saw the 15-year-old boy, Your Honor. But Mr. Nordstedt has offered opportunities where he would be there, and I have the text messages to show that, Your Honor. And Ms. Nordstedt has not taken him up on those offers, Your Honor. We did put a log. It is Exhibit 4 Your Honor, where my client has indicated the time that Ms. Norstead has chosen to see the children.
All right. What apart from the housing issue and these other the possible job situation, is there any evidence that the children are in danger or anything by having parenting time with their mother?
Your Honor, not with parenting time with their mother, if it's just solely parenting time. The concern, of course, is that they don't have stable housing. So they're staying on floors or staying on couches, and they're reporting they were staying at different people's houses on a day-to-day, if not week to week, if not day-to-day basis, with my client not knowing where, which is in violation of journal entry. We do not think that Ms. Norstead in and of herself is a safety issue. It's just her environment is something we know nothing about, and she doesn't have a stable home environment.
At the beginning of the hearing, the mother strongly defends herself, saying her children are safe with her and denying any accusations about drug use or being an unfit parent. She insists that the only issue affecting the children is her current lack of stable housing, not her behavior. The court then reviews the situation after issuing temporary emergency orders, asking the father for updates. The father explains that he has not received any confirmation that the mother has secured proper housing or health insurance for their 6-year-old child. He also highlights serious concerns about their older child, who has special needs, including deafness, cerebral palsy, and cognitive limitations. According to him, the older child is already covered by state insurance, but the younger child may currently be uninsured. This raises concerns about medical care and stability. The father further mentions that the mother recently left her job, and there are ongoing investigations connected to her previous employment, which adds uncertainty to her situation. He requests that he be allowed to provide insurance coverage through his own job if necessary. In response, the mother explains that she did not lose her job but chose to leave due to a toxic work environment and is actively working on getting state insurance. She admits she is currently staying with a friend and is still searching for stable housing, but insists the environment is safe. The court carefully listens as both sides present their concerns about stability, safety, and responsibility toward the children.
For the kids, we're also concerned about health issues, taking care of especially the 15-year-old's health needs. But Your Honor, just having visitation with the children doesn't impact that, because Mr. Norstead can schedule and make sure we follow through on those things. And a lot of those anecdotal things are included in the motion we filed this morning, Your Honor. But short answer, I gave you a very long answer to what should have been a short answer to your question. Ms. Norstead, in and of herself, Mr. Norstead does not believe is a threat of harm to the children.
All right. Ms. Norstead, and your response?
I don't see why I'm not able to pick them up and take them places and have parenting time and then drop them off at his house. I have no argument that me not having a home is not good for them. Okay, I have my own guilt on that. But Laren never talked to me independently about this. He never tried to address any of these situations with my job, with any of the other things. He never tried to have a conversation with me. He went straight to this. And for me to not see my kids like this is very, very, very not okay. It's not okay. I'm a great mom, first of all. And this is just, it's wrong.
All right. I think we need to establish some sort of scheduled parenting time for Miss Norstead to be able to exercise rather than it being solely at Mr. Norstead's discretion. I understand
Thank you.
long-term or overnights may not be appropriate at this time based on the Miss Norstead's current living situation, but I don't see any reason why she shouldn't be able to have scheduled parenting time. It doesn't sound like you all have had an opportunity to sit down and discuss what that parenting time might look like on a temporary basis. But I would provide that opportunity. If you all don't feel that's going to be productive, then I can just outline some and establish at least a temporary order. It sounds like we probably need to set a hearing down the road on the new motion that's been filed, but I want to have established times for Miss Norstedt to have parenting time. Miss Norstedt, are you working?
Yes,
Okay, what's your work schedule?
it's from 7 to 3:30.
And Your Honor, Mr. Nordstedt had proposed, and this was just because we didn't know where she was living, at the park, Douglas Park, around 5:45, 6:15, 6:30, 7 o'clock. So he did propose that, and that's what she didn't respond to. And I do have the text messages. She said, I will send this to my attorney and see what he has to say. Thank you. And I will let you know. And that was the last we heard of it, Your Honor.
All right, Miss Norstedt, did you receive, or what's your response to what's been proposed?
I think that it's not a bad idea for me to be able to pick them up from Laren's house and drop them back to Laren's house. What he proposed was that he was going to walk around the park like it was a supervised visit. I'm not going to do that. And then he wanted to meet at the Green Frog, which is a bar, when it was bad weather. I'm not going to do that either. My kids are not in danger with me, and like I said, again, I'm not saying that I'm fighting the fact that I don't have a place to live right now. I really respect that for him. But the way that he's acting right now, like on that paper that I was given, I look like a crackhead mom. I'm not a crackhead mom. I don't do drugs. I'm the only thing that is putting them in danger is maybe not having a stable home environment, but they've never slept on the floor and they've always had a place to sleep. That is a comfortable setting. I would never allow that for my children. And I'm not, and I wouldn't. So what I'm asking is if I can, on my days, pick them up from school or Laren's house or wherever and drop them back. I don't want a supervised visit. I don't want it to be like that because I don't deserve that. And they don't either.
As the hearing continues, the discussion shifts toward parenting time and whether the mother should have more consistent access to the children. The father's side proposes that the current temporary order should remain until the mother can prove she has stable housing. They argue that while the mother herself may not be a direct danger, her living situation is uncertain and could potentially expose the children to unsafe environments. The father also claims he has offered multiple opportunities for the mother to see the children, including visits at daycare, public places, and school events, but says she has not fully accepted those options. Evidence such as text messages and visitation logs is mentioned to support this claim. The court then questions whether there is any actual evidence that the mother is a threat to the children. The father's attorney admits that the concern is not about her personally, but about the instability of her living conditions and lack of transparency about where she stays. The mother responds emotionally, stating she is a good mother and does not understand why she cannot pick up her children and spend normal time with them. She acknowledges her housing situation is not ideal but feels she is being unfairly restricted. The judge begins to consider a balanced solution that allows parenting time while still addressing the concerns raised.
And Your Honor, that's not what was proposed. I'm reading from the text.
He said he would walk around the park.
One at a time, please.
He said he would walk around the park while I had them.
Let Mr. Thompson respond, please.
I'll just read the text message from Mr. Nordstedt to Mrs. Nordstedt. It's after the Douglas Park from approximately 5:45 to 6:15-ish. You guys can have alone time, and I will either go home or just he jogs, or just jog or walk around there. So he offered, just to give Mr. Nordstedt, so we're clear, he offered he could go home. So it doesn't even look like a supervised visit. I understand Ms. Norstedt's position to pick up the children, but where are they going to go, Your Honor? Are we going to a friend's house? If so, who is that friend? Where does that friend live? We do need to have some parameters about where she's taking the children.
Well, what evidence is there, Mr. Thompson, that the kids are in danger with her if she exercises this evening parenting time?
No, Your Honor, as to her, none. But if she takes them to someone's house that we don't know, we don't know. That's the problem, Your Honor. If she's saying, I'm going to take him to the restaurant in Douglas, I'm not familiar with Douglas, the Green Frog, or whatever, Pizza Hut, or wherever it is. She says she's staying at someone's house. She hasn't told us whose house. If she takes the children there, yeah, that could be a bad place. There could be a safety issue. depending upon who she's staying with. We don't know. I know she's looking incredulous, but she could be staying with a sex offender.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
I'll give you an opportunity once Mr. Thompson's done.
Thank
So
you.
that's the issue, Your Honor. Ms. Nordstedt, at least at this point, we don't have an issue with. I understand her reactions in this hearing, but if she is taking them to a third party's home, that is information that Mr. Nordstedt and the court is entitled to. I think it's in the journal entry. She has to disclose where the children are staying, Your Honor. And if there is a person, we don't know if it's a male, female, a family. We know nothing about where she's staying and where the kids might be, Your Honor.
Is Mr. Norstedt under the same obligations under the current parenting plan?
Well, she knows where Mr. Nordstedt's staying, Your Honor. He hasn't moved. I mean,
I understand that, but if he takes them during his time to a friend's house, does he have to let her know?
No, but that's not the children's residence. If she's taking them to her, we ought to have that information where she's staying and where she would be staying with the kids. If Your Honor doesn't agree with that, I understand, Your Honor, but if she's taking, if this is her home base and where she's going to take the kids for each one of her visitations, we think that's information we are entitled to, as well as the court.
Okay, well, let's first establish the days that are being proposed and the times that are being proposed.
Yes, Your Honor. My client had suggested it could be 2, 3, or 4 days a week. It depends on what Ms. Nordstedt was doing, because we did not know at the time about her employment situation. She indicates she's working now. I don't know if she has 1 job, 2 jobs, but that was the suggestion. 2, 3, or 4 times, whatever works with her schedule. It was of an evening. Remember, we have a 6-year-old, 15-year-old with special needs, 5:45 to 6:15. My client works at the school. He can be out of school about 4 o'clock.
Baseball practice.
Okay, there's practice.
5:30, yeah.
Yeah, 5:30. Okay. Yeah, he's got school commitments until 5:30, I'm told. That's why the 5:45 was proposed. And if she's working a regular hour job, she would typically get off at 5, Your Honor.
So just 30 minutes
Until it get
visit?
it could be longer than that, Your Honor. It could be a couple hours. I mean, when does the 6-year-old go to bed? When does your daughter go?
Usually about 8 or so.
They put her down about 8, Your Honor. So
We seem to have lost Miss Norstedt.
I'm sorry, my phone got too hot.
Okay.
and Your Honor, my client, 5:45 for the start time.
The conversation becomes more focused on how parenting time should be structured moving forward. The court emphasizes the need for a clear and fair schedule rather than leaving visitation entirely up to the father's discretion. The father's side raises concerns about the mother taking the children to unknown locations, especially since she has not disclosed where she is currently living. They argue that without this information, there is a potential risk, even suggesting extreme possibilities like unsafe individuals in that environment. The judge challenges this argument by asking for actual evidence of danger, noting that speculation alone is not enough to restrict parenting rights. The mother maintains that she should be allowed to pick up her children and spend time with them without being treated as if she requires supervision. She rejects the idea of meeting in places like parks under conditions that feel controlled or monitored. After listening to both sides, the judge makes it clear that supervised visits are not necessary in this case. However, the judge also states that if the children are taken to the mother's place of residence, basic information about that location should be shared for transparency. This marks a turning point as the court starts to establish a more structured and fair temporary arrangement.
They're in Douglas, small town. It could go as late as 7:45 with an 8 o'clock bedtime.
And what days of the week?
I leave that to Ms. Norstedt. Mr. Norstedt doesn't have a preference.
How many days during the week?
Anywhere from 2. Mr. Norstedt had proposed anywhere from 2 to 4, depending upon what Ms. Norstedt wanted to do.
All right, Miss Norstedt, as far as days during the week, what days would you propose you be able to have parenting time?
Well, I'd like to probably, if it's possible, just stay on the rotation that we were on before, if that's possible. So it would be the 2-2-3 typically. I mean, so I would like to stay on that rotation if possible. If I could have them more, then I would take them more. But I mean, I am working 2 jobs right now to try to retain an attorney. So,
So Monday and Tuesday, Your Honor? From 5:45 to 7:45?
well, it would rotate. So this week would be Monday, Tuesday. Next week would be Wednesday, Thursday.
Any objection to that? As far as the times and the days and the times available?
Yeah, okay, okay. Monday, Tuesday, week 1, then Wednesday, Thursday, week 2. And I just want to make sure from Ms. Norris that I'm understanding her proposal.
I mean, yes, if that's okay. Yeah, and if Laren needs help with them during baseball, then I would be happy to do that as well if he would let me.
So Monday and this week would be your Monday, Tuesday?
Yes.
Well, do you want to flip it? I'm sorry, Your Honor, if I may talk to Ms. Nordstead directly.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Do you want to flip it this week to see the kids? Because today's Tuesday.
Yeah. I mean, yes, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Is that, or I'm offering that without asking, but Wednesday, Thursday this week, and Monday, Tuesday next week?
Yes. I just want to make sure.
Okay. Wednesday, Thursday this week, Your Honor, then Monday, Tuesday next week is the proposal, as I understand it, from Ms. Norstead and my client agrees to.
All right, Ms. Norstedt, and are you okay with that proposal?
I am fine with that.
You would have parenting time from 5:45 to 7:45. We'll discuss the parameters of that here in a minute. I just want to establish times, and then weekends. Again, I'm not contemplating overnights under the current situation, but I want if there was parenting time available to her on the weekends of some sort, we need to establish that as well. So what would the weekend schedule be under the parenting plan as we currently agreed to?
3 to 5.
Your Honor, if we could, yeah, it'd be a bit challenging to try to do the weekends with the parenting plan because then that'd be Saturday and Sunday. If we could just maybe make a consistent 1 weekend day per week, like Sunday from 1 to 3 or 2 to 4. I don't know if Ms. Norstead is working a weekend job or not. We don't
If
know.
it was the weekend, if we're going to do Sunday, I would like to be able to take them to church with me. So I would propose that it would be like from 10 to 4 or something like that.
Sunday, 10 to 4?
I mean, yeah, I'll take whatever I can get, but yeah, I would like to take them to church with me.
Yeah, Your Honor, if it's going to church, my client also takes children to church. Maybe do every other Sunday then from 10 to 4.
I think that'd be appropriate. Any objection, Ms. Norstedt?
No.
And would we start? Lauren, do you mind? When do you want the Sundays to start? Do you want to take them to church this Sunday? Or
Well, if we're going with our rotation, this Sunday would be his because I would have them on.
Okay.
I'm just saying if that's the way that we're going to keep that, then he would have them on. He would take them on Sunday, and then But also, I don't care. I'll take them whenever I can take them.
So this Sunday would be yours, Lauren.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine, Your Honor. So this coming Sunday would be.
The court then works with both parties to create a detailed parenting schedule that fits their routines. It is agreed that the mother will have weekday parenting time from approximately 5:45 p.m. to 7:45 p.m., with a rotating schedule such as Monday and Tuesday 1 week, followed by Wednesday and Thursday the next. Weekend time is also discussed, and it is proposed that the mother will have time with the children every other Sunday, possibly from morning until afternoon, so she can take them to church. Both sides eventually agree to these terms. The judge clarifies that these visits do not need to be supervised, which supports the mother's argument that she is capable of caring for her children. However, the judge also stresses the importance of communication and transparency, particularly regarding where the children will be staying during visits. The discussion also covers communication methods, noting that the children do not have phones, so coordination must happen between the parents. Overall, the judge emphasizes that there are no allegations of abuse or substance issues, and that the case is mainly about adjusting parenting arrangements due to the mother's temporary housing situation. This balanced approach aims to protect the children while maintaining both parents' involvement in their lives.
Mr. Nordstedt said. We're fine with that.
Okay. All right, and as far as these don't need to be supervised visits. I don't think she needs to check in and everywhere she's going. I think it is appropriate if wherever she's currently living, if they're going to go hang out at eat there, that they at least Miss Norstedt, that you provide where it is that you're currently living. I think that's entirely appropriate, but I don't think there should be restrictions, or she shouldn't have to report everywhere she's taking them and what she's doing and that
No,
sort
Your Honor, we agree with that. It's just if she's going back to where she's staying, we would like to know where she's staying and who owns the place, who it's with.
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, that's all we want, Your Honor. And I'm sorry if it seemed like we wanted more, but no, we don't need to know that she's taking her to Pizza Hut. It's the home base.
And then what about any sort of phone contact or that sort of thing? What has there been any of that going on? Or does the 6-year-old or the 15-year-old even have a phone?
No.
No, they do not have phones, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah, the 15-year-old is at an elementary, as my understanding, maybe an elementary school level cognitively.
All right. And I understand this, the long term with there not being stable housing, but the way I'm looking at this is there aren't any safety concerns or drug and alcohol concerns or any of those types of factors that you see a lot of times in these cases. This is simply a modification of the current plan to accommodate Ms. Norstedt's current living situation. I think if there's additional times she can see the kids, I think those need to be allowed.
Your Honor, if you would ask Ms. Norstedt to disclose where she's living and with whom.
Ms. Norstedt, can you provide that information?
If I'm not taking the kids there, is that necessary? I'm just asking. I will respect it if you think it's necessary, but I'm not going to take the kids there because of this. I'm not going to expose, it's a safe place, but for the person that I'm living with, I don't see the reason that I need to involve that if I'm staying with a friend.
If you're not going to be taking the children there,
I will not take the kids
for
there.
any
You
reason at all,
have my word.
I don't know if it's necessary under the current temporary order.
Thank you.
If it's discovered that you have taken the children there, I think that would cause concern.
And I'm not willing to negotiate what we've agreed on, so I will not take our kids there. Again, I'm not saying that it's unsafe or it's a place they shouldn't be. I'm not going to involve that party.
All right, Ms. Norstedt, did you receive a copy of the motion to modify the parenting plan that was filed earlier today?
Yes, I got it at 3:22.
All right, I want to set.
Your Honor, I hate to parse, but she couldn't have received it 3:22 since it's right now 3:26.
I mean, 2:22, sorry.
That may have been, it just came through eFlex not too far before we started this hearing. But regardless of when it was received, we need to set another hearing, whether it be a status hearing on
2:45, sorry.
Again, it doesn't.
I got it at 2 something.
I don't think it matters one way or the other when it was received.
No, it doesn't.
I
Right,
simply
it doesn't.
want to set either a status hearing on these temporary orders or go ahead and set this motion for hearing. I haven't had a chance to review this motion, the new one that was filed.
Can I just address one thing?
Go ahead.
So things like Laren hitting a deer and not telling me that the kids were with him, does that count as something? And the fact that he's been staying with his parents with the kids and not taking care of them solo, like these are things that are kind of bothering to me, that he's done this and made it seem like I need to be supervised. And I know I'm very grateful for what we talked about today, but I just want to address those kinds of things, how I'm supposed to relay all this information and I've been kept from them and they've been kept from me, but these kinds of things can happen and I don't have to be aware of them.
Ms. Norstead, those are items that if you have concerns, you can raise those in a motion similarly and get those before the court.
Okay, thank you.
Those aren't the types of things I necessarily want to get into today. I'm simply trying to
No,
establish
I understand.
temporary orders under the current situation. And then if we need to dive into other details, whether they're brought by you or by Mr. Norstead, then we can do that at a
Your Honor.
later hearing.
I'm sorry,
Thank
Your
you.
Honor. Well, I'm circling back to one thing, and I don't think you ordered this one way or the other, but for health insurance for the 6-year-old, it's my understanding from Ms. Nordstead that the 6-year-old currently is not covered by insurance. I don't know if she applied for state benefits. She said she applied for something, but will the court rule on whether Mr. Nordstead is allowed to put the 6-year-old on an insurance policy, health insurance policy, so she does not remain uncovered?
Ms.
I did say that.
Norstead, is there any reason why the 6-year-old can't be placed on Mr. Norsted's insurance?
I mean, no, I am in the process of applying for benefits for her. So if you would just let me check on that and follow back up, then there would be no need for him to do that.
And that would be through the state?
Yes,
Wouldn't,
just temporarily until I can get benefits.
well, I don't know which is better, if it's through the state or is it through the school district?
Yes, Your Honor.
How soon could he get the child added?
How soon?
I don't know that answer.
Okay, he can go to the HR folks at the school and find that information out. But it's my understanding, based on these circumstances, that the child may be added to the policy. How long it takes, he's not sure. We haven't pulled that trigger yet because we weren't sure the status of the health insurance.
Okay, Ms. Norstead, are you opposed to the child being on that insurance?
No, I just know it's going to be really expensive for him to do that. So
That would be at his cost, I'm assuming?
yeah, I mean, they cover the employees pretty well, but once you add dependents, it's going to be pretty expensive. So that's up to him.
And Your Honor, yeah, and Your Honor, it's a function of whether the child is going to be covered or not. And if Ms. Norstead gives us information that the child will be covered within the next few days or a week, that will influence Mr. Nordsted's decision. But if it's going to be a month or more, then we need to get coverage.
I think it's appropriate for Mr. Norstead to be allowed to add the child if that's going to be the quickest way and most beneficial way. If Ms. Norstead presents information that would make that seem the better option for all parties involved, then you all can certainly consider that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, as far as time frame to get the motion to modify in front of the court, how much court time do you think we'll need to address your motion, Mr. Thompson?
Your Honor, are you thinking review hearing or evidentiary hearing?
Well, ideally, I would like to see the parties try to work this out without having to battle back and forth on these. I don't want to say they're not important, but ticky-tack type things back and forth, or this for that. However, some of these things go. I could do a 30-day status hearing to see where things are at. Perhaps Ms. Norstedt has found stable housing by then, and the parties have reached some agreements, or we can go ahead and just set an evidentiary hearing, which would probably have to be further out than 30 days.
Your Honor, my preference would be we can set it for the evidentiary hearing and get that date set, since I know evidentiary hearing dates are a little bit harder to come by than review hearing dates. And then if some agreements are reached, then we can take it off docket or schedule up a review hearing.
All right, Ms. Norstedt, anything you would add?
No.
All right, do you think a half day would be appropriate for an evidentiary setting?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Ms. Norstedt, do you have any reason to believe a half day wouldn't be enough time?
No.
All right, Angela, in the 45 to 60 day range, do we have a half day? Preferably an afternoon, if not a morning. It would be an in-person hearing. June 2nd at 9?
And we're half day, correct, Your Honor? That's what we're scheduling?
Correct.
June 2nd?
If I do get an attorney and they are, I mean, like, do you just want them to enter a motion and they'll coordinate with you, or?
Your Honor, if you retain counsel, have them contact me, then if the date doesn't work, we'll contact Ms. Cool and she'll have the judge's calendar and we can make some other arrangements.
All right.
If that's okay with the court.
All right, Ms. Norstedt, does June 2nd at 9 work for you?
Yes. Yeah, as of right now, yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we'll set that for June 2nd at 9 in the morning. Mr. Thompson, could you draft an order memorializing the temporary orders that have been set forth here today?
Yes, Your Honor. And do you want me to submit it directly to the court pursuant to 170 since Ms. Nordstedt is pro se?
I think that'd be the appropriate way to do it.
Thank you.
Ms. Norstedt, I think everybody has your email address and phone number.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Thompson, are there other matters that you feel haven't been addressed that need to this afternoon?
Anything? There we go. No, Your Honor. I'm sorry. No, Your Honor.
And Ms. Norstedt?
Nope. Thank you.
All right, I would encourage everyone to try to work towards agreements if you can. If not, then we'll sort them out when we return in June.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Battery is not working on this thing.
In the final part of the hearing, attention shifts to long-term planning and unresolved issues, including health insurance for the 6-year-old child. The father's side requests permission for him to add the child to his insurance plan if the mother cannot secure coverage quickly. The mother does not oppose this, but mentions she is already applying for state assistance and wants time to complete that process. The judge suggests that whichever option provides faster and better coverage should be considered. The court then discusses scheduling a future hearing to review the case in more detail, possibly including evidence and further arguments. A date is set for early June, allowing time for both parties to improve their situations and possibly reach agreements outside of court. The judge encourages cooperation and warns against unnecessary conflict over minor issues, emphasizing that the goal is the well-being of the children. Before closing, the mother raises additional concerns about the father's actions, but the judge advises her to bring those issues forward through proper legal motions instead of addressing them in this session. The hearing concludes with instructions to formalize the temporary orders and a reminder for both parties to work towards stability and cooperation before the next court date.